Hello, you beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of the Soulful Self-Development Podcast. My name is Hannah Sutherland, and I'm your host. Today, we're going to be talking about masculine and feminine energies. So, something really important to know about this is that everything in the entire world is made up of both masculine and feminine energy. The key to learning how to create balance in your life is by learning to understand these two energies and how you can create balance between the two within your life, because we need that balance in order to create harmony within our life, within the world. And although everyone has their own gender, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your gender is. Every single person has both masculine and feminine energies, and you may have one that naturally exists more than the other. However, we all have both. So this is important to know, and this has nothing to do with your gender or your sexuality or anything like that. They are strictly energies that make the world go round, and it's really important to understand both these energies so that you can see in your life where you may have more masculine and need to incorporate more feminine, or other way around. So we will get into all that we need to help you with that. So first of all, I'm going to explain to you what these energies mean. So for starters, masculine energy. Masculine energy is all about action. It is the yang. It's the more logical and structured side of energy. It protects and provides. It is active and it's always working. The masculine energy is able to stand strong on their own, and they are quick thinkers, good at solving problems, and both fire and air signs are masculine energy. So that might give you a little bit of an idea of the masculine. So the feminine energy is all about the flow and the surrender. It is the yin. So they're more into following their intuition and just trusting in the universe that everything's going to work out in the end. This energy is very nurturing, it's imaginative, it's loving and compassionate and empathetic. And it is the ease, the flow, and it is water and earth signs are both feminine energy. So if you can see in comparison from one to the other, so where the masculine is the action, the take steps, the work, the plan, and the feminine is the trust, the surrender, the knowing that it's just going to work out in the end, we actually need to be in an equal balance of both energies. Because say we are mostly masculine, we have a lot of masculine energy, and we're working all the time, we're stressing ourselves out, it's always work, action, all this stuff. And we don't take time for the surrender, the rest, the trust. We're going to burn ourselves out, and we're actually not going to manifest or call into our lives as much as we would be if we had this balance with the feminine. And on the other side, the feminine, again, the trust, the surrender, we can trust, imagine, visualize all the livelong day, us living the most beautiful, magical lives that we want to manifest for ourselves, which is awesome, but that's never going to happen if you don't take any action. So, again, this is why we need both the feminine and the masculine. And we actually live in a society that is very, very, very masculine dominant. We live in a patriarchy. So everything was designed for the masculine energy. The masculine energy is represented by the sun, the sun is the same every single day, right? The sun comes up every single morning and sets every single night. It is like clockwork. It is consistent. We don't have to think about it. It's never changing. It's just always there. Whereas the feminine is like the moon. that goes in a 28-day cycle. It has more ebbs and flows. It has beginnings and endings in the cycle. And it's also interesting because men run on a 24-hour cycle within their own bodies. Their body cycles everything within 24 hours. Whereas being a woman, our bodies go in 28-day cycles with our menstrual cycle and all of our hormones and everything. So we are far more like the moon, which is the feminine energy. So I think that's really cool, but just something to remember. But however, because we live in a very, very masculine dominant society, we live in a patriarchy, and we have all been very conditioned to believe that we need to be working all the time. We're always on the go. We're chasing the next best thing. We're taught to think very, very logical, that everything needs to be planned out. Our lives need to be planned out for us. We're taught about all this information in school and things like that. Whereas it's taught us to be also very disconnected from our emotions. We're not taught properly how to deal with, process, let go of emotions, which causes a lot of imbalances within the body. And also, we are not taught about our intuition. We're not taught what our intuition is, how to listen to it, how to follow it, what an intuitive feeling feels like, looks like, how it can show up differently for different people. That's not something we're taught, and that is like the feminine side of life. We're also not encouraged to give our bodies what they need. It's hard enough to find even food that is full of good nourishment that we need. We are not encouraged to rest, to allow our bodies to rest and heal properly as they need to be. If you think about like working out, there is like such this culture behind like weightlifting and all this stuff that is like, push yourself until you can't walk the next day, like you want to make yourself sore and all this stuff. And I do understand that that does make you stronger, and it is kind of how you build muscle. But as a woman, it's not really that healthy because we're not honoring our bodies within our cycles, and that how we need to be going through all these different stages. Like if you're on your period, you should be doing light to no exercise, maybe going for a walk, but you shouldn't be lifting heavy weights. And when you're ovulating, that's a different story. You can be doing high intensity cardio, you can be doing weightlifting, all these things. And then it's like every phase is different. But we're in this masculine dominant society where it's like do the same thing every day. There's all this structure, all these rules we need to follow. It's like bang, 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 bang. And we're losing that balance within our lives. So something that you can be aware of is that the right side of our body represents the masculine energy within our body, and the left side represents the feminine. So if you have issues on the left side of your body, it is an indication that you have imbalances or issues with your masculine energy. And if it's on the left side, then it's feminine. But it's also important to note that just because if you have an issue, I'm going to use myself for an example. I am mostly masculine energy. I'm a female. I would call myself a girly girl. I love to feel pretty. I love to get dressed up. I love dresses. I love all the girl things that society has told me is for women. But I am mostly masculine energy, okay? In my astrology chart, I am 69% air, and then my next highest element is fire, which I believe is close to 20%. So I am over 80% air and fire, masculine. I don't have a lot of feminine energy that naturally just occurs within myself. So it is something that I have to consciously be aware of and work towards, because I don't just have this energy in me naturally, and that's okay. And it can go either way. It can go any of the ways. You can be feminine and have a lot of feminine energy. You can be feminine and have a lot of masculine energy. That doesn't make you masculine. It doesn't make you a boy or a tomboy necessarily. It's just that I am more likely to be like work, get it done, or figure it out, than I am to be like, I'm just going to sit here and let things come to me. Which is like in my journey something I really have had to be mindful about and learn to do for myself. But I have a lot of issues with the right side of my body. My right hip gets very, very, very tight, pinches nerves. It bugs me all the time. And it is an imbalance in my masculine, but it's like an overactiveness of my masculine. So my masculine energy is getting used far more than my feminine energy. So my masculine energy gets tired. It gets overworked because I'm not balancing it with the female and letting my female energy take the reins for a while. If I am really in my masculine, the right side of my body gets very sore and exhausted. So just because you have the imbalance on the right side, which is masculine, doesn't necessarily mean you don't have enough masculine. It can also be manifested because of too much masculine, because the masculine energy is tired in your body. Yeah, so as a woman as well, especially because I know that I am mostly masculine, I have learned this about myself in my own journey. If you are a woman and you struggle with really bad periods, it has many factors. I mean, the fragrances that are around us all the time are not good for periods. There's a lot of things that can affect it. However, being extremely in your masculine is not good as a feminine when it comes to honoring your cycle, honoring the flow, ebbs and flows that you should be going through on a month-to-month basis that your body's going through within your own body. So if you have bad periods, just try and be cautious, be aware of, am I way too in my masculine? Because if I'm not taking the time to properly rest, to give myself the proper nutrients that I need, it's going to result in me having really tough periods. If I'm not honoring this feminine side of myself, I am holding on to these wounds in my feminine. I end up having really bad periods. And this is something that I've been really, really, really trying hard to work on. And my periods have gotten significantly better. And I've made multiple changes in my life, so it's not just one thing. But this, I did feel a really big shift of energy in my own life when being aware of this. And I actually went to Reiki only a few months ago. And I had some sort of trauma in my womb. And it was because I had this disconnection from my feminine energy. And it came from not even just in this life, although yes, it is in this life, but it started in past lives. And I haven't lived too many lives as a woman because I am so highly masculine energy. I have a lot of masculine energy. I live most of my lives as a man. And I have lived lives as a female. This isn't my first one, but a lot of my feminine lives I have lived in the past, I have held a lot of trauma in, at least the ones that I have become aware of in this life. I unlock different past life memories all the time. And ones that really helped me see this pattern was in a past life I was a witch. I was burned at the stake, and it just really created this disconnect from this feminine energy. And like as a witch, you are fully embodied in that feminine energy, right? You live by the moon. You are so in tune with nature. You are, right? You make potions out of all these different plants, and you understand that all these plants have these different powers and all these things. And I had that connection, and then I lost it because I was killed for what I believed in. I was killed for speaking my truth, and that created a big wound in my feminine energy. And I really had to work through that when it came to me starting to be able to share my voice, to be able to speak my truth, to be able to trust and surrender that I was on the right path, that I'm meant to, have this knowledge and understanding and be able to share it with others. And another one was that I was a whore in a brothel in a past life, and that created obviously a lot of trauma in my feminine energy because my body was not necessarily my own. I was being taken advantage of. I was put in this really shitty situation, and I lived a whole life just not being able to do anything about it, not honoring my sacred femininity and all these things. And I'm sure there's been more lives as me as a woman, but these are two that just really stuck out to me, and just like proof that like the trauma can come from past lives. And it's bled through into this life, and I have trauma to do with my femininity in this life, but I'm working on healing it, and my periods are so much better. So just keep that in mind. And if you're a dude, notice that about your sisters, girlfriend, mom, whatever. Honor that about them, because it's a really big part of life, and we all need to heal so much. And so in order to the reason why it's so important to have such a balance of both the masculine and feminine energies is because we need both in order to manifest, call into, or create anything into our lives. We need the action and the surrender. We need the structure and the trust. We need the force and the flow. And it's that balance that makes manifestations come in faster, stronger, more incredible than you even pictured it being, because nothing will ever happen if we don't take action, but also things are not going to happen if we are not trusting and surrendering. So it's making a plan, declaring what you want, taking an action step in that direction, and then taking a step back and saying, I trust you, universe. Okay, and then you get a sign, you trust your intuition, and then you take another step, another action, another work towards that goal a little more masculine. And then you allow for the flow, you allow for the people that are meant to come to you. You trust that you are guided, that you're on the right path. You're not doubting yourself, feminine. And it's just the ebb and flow of both. You need both. And it becomes very powerful and magical when creating things. And even think about having a baby. You need a man and a woman. You need the masculine and the feminine. This goes for creating all things, not just life, all things. So I'm going to give you an example of what a healthy masculine versus a wounded masculine energy looks like, and then same for feminine. So if you have healthy masculine energy, you are disciplined, focused, honest, grounded, you serve others, you are accountable, committed, and you are a leader. You like to lead. You can lead in situations. That is a healthy masculine energy. If you have wounds in your masculine energy, it can come off as being arrogant, selfish, feeling the need to always be right, being very defensive. You may fear failure. You are disconnected from your emotions. You can be aggressive and very narrow-minded. So as for the feminine, if you have a healthy relationship with your feminine energy, you are able to ask for help when you need it. You are good at being vulnerable with others. You set boundaries for yourself. You are open to speaking your truth, and it's easy for you. You are confident in yourself, in your abilities, in the fact that you are protected and supported by the universe. You are creative and good at creating things. You are authentically you. And you have a good relationship with your intuition. You're very intuitive and you know to trust your intuition. So if you have wounds in your feminine energy, then this can manifest as being very codependent, feeling like you need a man, like you need somebody to support you, and not trusting in yourself. Give too much. You're giving too much of yourself away. You're leaving nothing left for you. You're trying to give from an empty cup. It's not working. you lack boundaries. You don't set boundaries for yourself, so you give too much. Lack of boundaries, you're going to end up giving too much of yourself away. You become a people pleaser. You just want to make everybody happy, so you don't set the boundaries, and you just tell everyone what they want to hear because you want everyone to be happy. That's a wounded feminine. You seek validation. You want other people to approve of you, of what you believe in, of what you want to do. You're waiting for people to tell you, yes, go do it, but you just need to be able to do that for yourself. You are desperate for love. Maybe you jump from relationship to relationship without healing in between, which just keeps resulting in you having the same problems in your relationships, even if it's with different people. And also uncontrolled emotions. So if you get extremely overwhelmed with emotions and you don't know what to do, or if you just like have outbursts because these emotions come up so quickly and they just like take over, that can also be because of having wounds in your feminine energy. I would also like to note that in society, and there are really, really deep wounds in both the masculine and feminine that come from generations and generations and generational trauma that really, really, really needs to be healed. We need to help ourselves as well as the rest of humanity by healing these wounds and moving forward. So for the masculine, this has to do a lot with emotions. Essentially, I would say it's like for the masculine, it's the feminine, and for the feminine, it's the masculine, right? Like it was really distilled in people, like men are not allowed to feel their emotions. Men can't cry. Men to be this big, strong, burly man, and that's unsustainable. That's why we need the feminine and the masculine, because that gets exhausting, that gets tiring, and it's not true. It's important to feel your emotions no matter what your gender. It's important to, be able to be strong, but also allow yourself to be supported no matter what gender you are. So that's a really big wound. And then for the feminine, it's the being able to share your voice. It's the feeling weak, feeling like you need somebody to be able to do all these things for you because you can't do it on your own. Like, girls aren't strong. Girls, I find this as a girl. It's like, if I'm struggling and I need help, I will ask for help. But there's a lot of times, like I use, for example, my job. I'm a DJ. I have to lift heavy equipment. I can do it by myself. I've lifted it by myself hundreds of times. I know I can do it. If it's at the end of the night and I'm tired and somebody's like, hey, do you want help? I'll be like, sure, because it's heavy. It sucks. But if I can do it on my own and I know that I don't need somebody, I don't need a big, strong, burly man, I don't need somebody else to come rescue me, I know I can do it on my own. But I also know it's okay to ask for help if maybe one day I'm not feeling so good and I want help lifting this heavy thing. I'll be like, hey, would you mind giving me a hand? Okay, that's a good balance between feminine and masculine energy. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to also not always feel like you need help. You can do things on your own, but also you don't always have to do things on your own. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to give some examples of things that you can do if you feel disconnected from these energies. So if you feel disconnected from your feminine energy, if you feel like you're way too much in your masculine and you need to call more feminine energy into your life, here are some things that you can do. You can, for one, spend time in nature. Solves so many problems. Go outside. Go outside. Be creative. Do something to be creative. Be playful. Have fun. Let loose. Dance around outside in the nature and in the sun and sing and dance and have the best time. Practice using your intuition. So that's a really, really big one. Right? Learning to trust our intuition, being open to our intuition and the answers that it brings us can really connect you to that feminine energy. Have a self-care practice. Make sure that there's things that you're doing, rather daily, weekly, monthly, that you are doing to take care of yourself. Whether it be getting ready in the morning so you feel beautiful, whether it be having a skincare routine that you really love to do for yourself, or a massage, or going to the gym, or whatever it is. Take care of yourself. This also includes rest. You need to have scheduled time, dedicated time to rest and recover, to allow your body to be just gentle. And, our body needs to rest to be able to heal properly. Honor that. And embrace your sensuality. Okay? That's very part of the feminine experience. Feel sexy. Feel beautiful. Put on an outfit that makes you feel hot. Look at yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself how beautiful you are. Shake your butt for all I care. Move those hips. Focus on and remember how amazing and beautiful and sacred your feminine power is. And just a side little note here, I have this theory. Men are scared, we're scared of women and decided to make women feel smaller and that they needed men because women are so powerful. The intuition that comes with feminine energy and just the connection with nature. This is why people were so scared of witches. Witches like divine, pure divine feminine energy is a witch. They were so powerful. They literally could cast spells on people. They were so full of knowledge, but not in the way of like going to school and learning. They just knew. They had this amazing sense of intuition and knowing and trust in the universe. And they were literally magical, powerful beings. And men were scared. So they killed off all the witches, because God forbid somebody be stronger than a man, and made women to feel small and like a damsel in distress. So we need to tap back into realizing how strong and powerful women are. Okay, maybe I can never bench press as much as a man, which is fine, but that doesn't mean in my own ways I'm not so powerful, right? They might have the physical power, but I have the emotional power, the intuitional power, the mental power. So not trying to compare one to the other, because yes, men are also powerful, but men have been holding their power over women for generations, and enough is enough. Women, you are fucking powerful, okay? Don't forget that. Tune into that, tap into that. It is so important. Dress up sexy and just embody that beautiful, sacred goddess feminine energy. It's insane. It is amazing. I love that I'm a woman in this life, because being in this power is just amazing. We have freaking portals in our body. We bring literal life into this world. We are so powerful. So never doubt yourself, okay? And so on the other side, if you feel disconnected from your masculine energy, some things that you can do is pick a goal, make a plan, and decide how you can achieve it, and start to take action towards that goal. So sit down, plan your life out. Plan out things. You say, this is what I want. I want to get to this destination. I want to achieve this. I want this to happen. Then say, okay, awesome. Now how am I going to make that happen? What do I need to do in order to get that? Say it's going on a trip. It's getting your passport. Making sure your passport's up to date. It's looking at flights. It's knowing how much money you need to save. All those things. And start taking action. And then, with the feminine, then you would trust that it's all going to happen and all these things. But we need to be able to make a plan and take action on it and stick to it. We need to be able to have discipline and structure and make these decisions for ourselves. We need a routine to follow. So maybe you have a daily routine, and just like waking up every morning and doing this thing for yourself, both masculine and feminine. The discipline in that is masculine, of waking up and doing it, making sure it gets done. But if that habit or whatever it is you're doing for yourself is some form of self-care, may it be meditating or stretching or whatever it is you want to do when you wake up in the morning, then that's a good balance of both. But creating a routine and following it to teach yourself discipline is very good for getting more in tune with the masculine side of your energy. Be a leader in any way that you can. Lead people in a direction of where you want them to go. Show up as a leader in that leader energy of like, you know what? I can do it. I can guide you. I can show you the way. Here, follow me. Let's go over here. I want to do this. Who wants to come with me? Masculine energy. Stand up for yourself, okay? If someone's picking on you, if someone's putting you down, say hell to the no. Absolutely not, okay? I am a boss-ass bitch, and you ain't telling me nothing, okay? Clearly this is a wound you have within yourself, and you're trying to project it on me, and I ain't taking it. I ain't taking it on. Take it back. Here you go. Stand up for others as well, right? The masculine energy is very much a warrior. Okay, so be that warrior. Stand up for the little man. Don't be afraid to tell people how it is. And let go of fears that you hold so that you can take action, because the fear of failure is really going to hold you back. There's no such thing as failure. Failure is just teaching us lessons on how we can grow and make things better. So we don't want to feel failure. Failure is important, right? It guides us in the new direction. It helps us to just be the best version of ourselves that we can be. But if we really feel failure, then we're not going to take the steps towards the things that we want to do. We're going to end up not doing anything. And then we're going to wonder why these things we want to do aren't manifesting and why is nothing working out for us? Well, we haven't done anything. So that is all that I have for you today on masculine versus feminine energy. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. I think that this information is really, really, really beneficial. Just remember, just because you are a man doesn't mean you shouldn't have feminine energy. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you shouldn't have masculine energy. We all need both. We all need both. And if you're looking for a partner, it can be a good idea to look for somebody that balances that out for you, because say you have two people, a woman and a man, that are both high in masculine energy, it can end up you may pull each other both more into the masculine, whereas if you have one that's more masculine, one that's more feminine, you actually might create more balance for each other. And also with just not even just romantic relationships, but just the people that you surround yourself with. If you're okay, I'm somebody that's really always in my masculine, I'm going to surround myself with friends who are more in the feminine, just to remind myself of that part of myself, to honor that part of myself more. When I'm with these friends, I'm going to feel that difference of their energy, and I'm going to honor that part of myself, kind of thing. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this episode. I love you all so much. Thank you all for showing up and being here. You guys are truly so amazing, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to go and get my new book that I created. There's a lot about energies and how you can use them in your life. There's so much information in this book, and it is so, so beneficial. So if you're on this self-help, healing, spiritual journey and you don't know where to start, or you just love learning things like me, I highly, highly, highly recommend. You can get it on my website, soulfulselfdevelopment.ca, and I will put the link in the show notes. Thank you all so much. I love you all, and I will see you next time. Bye!